All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the joint meeting of the District Building Advisory Committee and the Building Level Advisory Committee. Thanks, everyone, for making the time on this beautiful evening. We have what I think is largely an update meeting tonight. No big decisions to make, but some important updates and exciting progress on our 3 projects. We have a small crew right now, so I'm gonna hold on our considering the meeting minutes and move right into the agenda, if that sounds good to everyone. And so I'm going to hand it over to Lisa tonight to lead us through the agenda.
Excellent. Thank you, Emily. I'm going to pull up the screen, or the presentation, I should say, onto the screen. You should all see now the cover slide. Excellent. I got some thumbs up so everyone can see this. Let me advance to the agenda. So we're going to pause on the approval of the minutes, and we're going to go right into the construction update, contingency update, FF&E update, and next steps. So the construction update, let's see. So the first school up is Longfellow, and update on Longfellow. So phase 2B, which is the lower level, and we added some graphics in the lower right-hand side so folks can follow along where the different phases are. The tile installation is complete, and the toilet partitions are installed. They've completed the flooring in the corridors of the lower level. And the final inspection for this phase occurred on March 8th. We received the certificate of occupancy, the official paper copy, on March 13th, and the city allowed the school to start moving in on Friday, March 10th. And they are now fully moved in. And we are in the process of completing the punch list for phase 2B, and we'll finish this coming Monday. Phase 2C, which is the elevator, prepping exterior metal siding. The elevator cab installation is complete, and this phase remains on schedule to be completed the 14th. Moving on to phase 2D, which is the addition on the back of the building. The exterior brick masonry is complete. The curtain wall, which is the large glass wall. The wall framing is installed and glazing is in the bump out. Painting and flooring is complete. Final inspection occurred on 3/8, and they received their certificate on 3/13. So this is the same sign off as we had on 2B, and the city allowed them to start moving in on 3/10, and they are fully moved in. And Karaman has completed their punch list for phase 2D. Additional phase 2B and 2D schedule items. The lead flush out began on the 6th and completed on the 10th. And the commissioning is complete, and we have the final report from Sparhawk, who is the commissioning agent. Phase 4B, which is a kindergarten classroom, that phase is complete. Phase 5, which is the second floor. The school district has been working on moving classrooms over the last few weeks, and teachers are now all moved out of these spaces. The abatement is expected to begin next week, and Harriman has received approvals from the city for the phasing plans in this area. Phase 6, which will be the phase that comes after phase 5, will be the first floor work in the library, music wing, and completion of the corridors. And we are working on getting those drawings for that phase submitted to the city. And this phase is scheduled to be completed in August 2023. Potential challenge that we've noted is we've requested an updated schedule to confirm the completion date. We should note that contractually, the completion date is December 20th, 2023, but they were exploring whether they could deliver it in August 2023 or later. And so that is what we're currently tracking right now, is really trying to nail down that completion date. As we all know, that impacts educational delivery and moving plans. So we are working closely with the contractor to get a schedule updated based on the recent completion of work and plan accordingly. So here are some photos of the different phases. You can see that the addition out back, so this is occupied. There was some work going on the curtain wall, and this is the back of the addition here. There, in this picture, there are temporary rails. I'm going to do the rails at the end of the project, but there are temporary rails that the city had signed off on. So I want to make sure folks know that we don't have those left open. And you can see into the pre-K classroom right here. That's the window bump out, another tall window. This is a collaboration space at the end of the hallway. And then this is reading 052 and ELL 051 in those spaces. All right, before we move on to, oops, I'm going too fast here. Before we move on, any questions on Longfellow? Scanning through the list here. Okay, I'm not seeing any. If folks do, please speak up. All right. Too many Zoom controls in my way here. All right, so we have Reiki's update. Construction update for Reiki. Phase 4 and 5. 4 was completed and received its certificate of occupancy. And then 5 is more than halfway complete. Hanging of drywall is complete. Taping should be complete by the end of this week. The ductwork is roughed in. Interior door frames and glass have been installed, and priming and painting is underway. So this has been a relatively smooth phase for the phase 5. And the roof update, the roof plaza work has been approved. Work will begin this summer, and we have applied for that permit for that work. And we are awaiting a response from the city. We did work directly with the city on the application. So it should have been submitted as they desired, and we'll continue to work closely with them through that process. Opportunities. We may be able to start the art and music rooms earlier, sometime after April vacation. The art and music were supposed to be completed next fall, but we won't have access via the roof plaza at that time because we'll be working on that roof plaza. So contractors would have to come through the school. And so if we can get it done this spring, that will also take pressure off what we refer to as a summer slam, which is try to get a lot of work done in the summertime because the building's not occupied, if we can start those spaces earlier. The site, the owners contemplating whether they want to keep or remove concrete slabs under the portables. There's some potential cost savings for leaving those in place. And we are working out details with EV parking stations for LEED. So those are the electric vehicle. That's what EV stands for. The city is installing 4 car charging stations on the site this summer. The exact dates to be determined, but we're working through whether that can count towards some of the LEED compliance. I see Emily's hand is up.
Lisa, I had a question about the concrete slabs and the owner interested in potentially keeping them. Was removing the slabs in our scope of work?
I'll turn that over to Steve. I think Steve's been heavily involved in that conversation.
Emily, yes, it was.
So that cost is already accounted for if removing them.
Yeah, if we didn't remove them, well, we get a credit back for what the cost in the contract was for keeping them.
Okay.
It's a credit back to remove.
I see Mr. M's hands up. Mr. M, please go ahead.
Thanks, Emily. Thanks, Lisa. I just wanted to confirm, just at the last meeting, we did confirm that we want the concrete slabs removed. So just wanted to be transparent with that process.
Perfect.
Excellent.
Thank you for that.
That was the recommendation from Charlie and his in the playground group. I think as I presented it for transparency, and I'm waiting for the numbers, it could be a pretty good number to consider. Just asking for consideration on total budget and cost to get through these projects.
I'll just echo what I've said to you privately, Steve, which is that at least, and I'd love Charlie to weigh in, but from my perspective, that space it used to just be a critical space, the only space where kids could really run and play soccer and other games during recess. So I think that removing the slabs would be critical to getting back to having an area where kids can play ball and have the freedom to run around.
That is the intention. Yep. Thank you.
And the timing of the project for the playground renovation is 2 years away.
So I believe where it stands is we're just waiting to get a cost so we understand what the impact is, and the decision has not been fully made at this point, but the recommendation from Charlie is that they would like them removed. Dave?
Yeah, I just want to weigh in and say that we have asked Hardy Pond to price what the credit would be to leave the slabs there. And their project manager has been on vacation. She's back this week, so we should have that pricing possibly this week, more likely next week, just so we'll be able to know what the financial impact is if we leave them there. So stay tuned.
Thank you, Dave.
Lori, hello. Please go ahead.
Hi, thanks, Emily. So I will just echo Charlie, and also that we are one of the only schools that our student population continues to grow, and it is a really tight space. Not only is that area where they love to play soccer, but it is a really tight space right now in terms of having the number of kids we have outside during recess. So just echoing what Charlie's saying for multiple reasons.
And I know if the community were to weigh in, they would be strongly in favor of regaining that space. Okay, excellent. Are there any other questions up to this point on the Reiki update? Okay, Lisa, I think we're good to go ahead.
Excellent. Get back to slides. All right, so here are some images, and keep in mind this is phase 5. Some of it may look similar to some of the other spaces that have been complete, but this is phase 5, and as soon as we take these photos, they're out of date. So more has happened since these were taken, but you can see that drywall is hung, and the framing for the doors and interior windows are in. And many folks in our office that we were sharing these with commented on just how tidy a site this is, and so nice to see that, and nice to see the progress that is happening. All right, any questions on Reiki before we move to Presumpscot? Or I should say additional questions. We had some great commentary earlier. Okay, moving on to Presumpscot. So I like to quote Ange, I don't know if she's on tonight, she is, that this is done, right, Angie?
I am on, I'm driving, yep. Go ahead and quote me.
So yes, Presumpscot is nearly done. There's a few remaining things in regards to the site that will happen spring and summer. But the front and rear additions are occupied. The punch list items are mostly complete. We're tracking down a couple open items some of the corridor flooring work, and the existing building will be completed on nights, weekends, and possibly April vacation. Replacement of cafeteria accent flooring will likely be done this summer. The lead required flush out began on February 10th and was completed February 18th. And that documentation was submitted to Thornton Tomasetti, who we are partnering with on the lead documentation. They will continue to do occupied flush out as part of the lead compliance. The main entrance has been open for use, which is huge. I know that's been a long time coming. The installation is nearly complete. We're still working on that one piece of trim, and the trim work will be completed most likely by the end of this month. And then training for staff was delayed due to snowstorms and has been rescheduled in coordination with the school staff. And the office trailer and fencing have been removed from the site, and they are strategizing on the timing of the removal of the modulars. And staff have moved into their spaces, and we haven't heard any concerns. Anja, I'd love for you to speak to anything that you've heard, any concerns or celebrations or anything of the like.
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, cool. No, they're not, like, no, I mean, no concerns. I just want to say, like, it has literally changed our world. I think everyone feels like they have just so much more space, and it's so beautiful. We have offices, and I just feel like the whole, like, at the beginning of the years, it was so stressful, and, like, now we're just in such a beautiful place. So it's amazing, and I'm telling you, for everyone, once you get there, it's like a relief, and there's just so much fun in having, like, this new space. So thank you.
Excellent. That's great to hear, Ange. Laura, did you have a question?
The flooring in the cafeteria, I thought there was talk about not replacing it because it looks great as it is. I didn't know.
Yeah, so it didn't meet the specification of the project, and the credit that they were going to be giving us was not adequate. So therefore, we had them replace it to match the spec.
Okay, super. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, and we did find the music chairs, by the way.
Excellent. That's what I had heard that.
That's good.
So that's great news. Yeah. No more sitting on the floor. Although I know kids love to sit on the floor, so I'm sure it wasn't too bad. So site update, none of this has changed. This is the schedule of what we're looking to, how we're looking to approach the site work. And again, it all depends on what type of spring we have. Pictures. So the front entry, we refer to that as a butterfly roof. You can see that one piece of trim that still has to go in. So when we say what's missing, that's essentially this small piece right in the middle. The other pictures on the right-hand side, the upper left, we're looking down the pre-K and kindergarten wing to what we refer to as the nest. And essentially, there's right around the corner a small collaboration space that looks out to the woods. So a fun place for students. We have the warming kitchen equipment in the upper right. The lower left photo is the new front entry canopy, so the new face of Presumpscot School. Hard to see because we were shooting right into the sun, so we'll try to get some better photos of that. And then the lower right-hand side is a view of the kindergarten west wall with those playful windows of varying sizes at different heights for the kindergarten and pre-K classrooms. Any questions, additional questions on Presumpscot? Laura, yes.
Thanks, Lisa. Yeah, I just wanted to also share in talking to students and staff, just so much appreciation enjoying the space. I don't think Mr. Suter would mind me sharing our music teacher, how thrilled he is. He's never had his own space, he told me, and then just like hearing how much the kids are enjoying the space and as he's developing, and adding things to the classroom. That's super exciting. So I just wanted to share that. And also that basketball, how cool it was for our basketball league to be able to use the front entrance and have that open space for our community to gather in the front was just like a very different experience than past years of kind of being crammed in the space where you're getting your, the concessions and then also trying to fit into the gym. So that I thought was really amazing to help us build community in that space. So that was wonderful. I just had a question, Lisa, about on the list where you had all the upcoming work like landscaping and paving. I don't know if you mind bringing that up. I just had a question about the timing. So, okay, great. So that's all early summer. So I imagine the goal, and striping the lot. So that's really to be completed at the end of the school year for the fall. I'm assuming that because just really noticing kind of that, that there's not really a sidewalk along there, and just the rough. So that's all going to be done in June. It sounds like for
that's what the goal is try to get all that done as soon as weather will allow us to, and get out of your way.
Okay. And then for the fall, also for that whole field area to be back in use for, recess and PE time and everything, because that all has to be planted, like the grass has to be.
So that's looking like it's going to be rebuilt in June. It's going to take some time. So we'll see how it takes and how well it's growing over the summer. And if it's ready.
Yeah, that helps to just peek at this again and get a sense of when all of that. Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I see that Nicole Burdine joined us. And Nicole, I just wanted to see if you had anything that you wanted to raise regarding Longfellow. We've gone through the Longfellow update, but I just wanted to see if you had anything.
Not at this juncture. No, I think I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, we will jump on to contingency update. So we continue to update these as we go, and no concerns at this time. We have, as we anticipate, Presumpscot goes down as we get to the completion, and we have a good amount of remaining funds in the other two schools as we work to close those out over this next year. And jump to the furniture update. So a lot has taken place in the furniture update. We have the quick ship furniture has all been delivered and accounted for at Presumpscot. So that was the immediate furniture needed for new spaces. Harriman walked the Reiki building with the 3 lead teachers and inventoried the furniture on the 27th and documented their findings and emailed some additional questions. Harriman met again with the Reiki lead teachers to review classrooms, cafeteria, admin plans, and how they can get the most for their budget. And next, we'll work on library shelving. And then Harriman is scheduled to meet over at Longfellow on Tuesday to begin the inventory of their existing furniture. And then we will follow up and set up a meeting with Longfellow after this inventory is complete to really talk about what our findings are and start to explore different options. I will pause here to see if there are any questions on furniture. Jessica.
Hi, I just wanted to ask, when we were doing LISATH, were the BLACs involved in what kind of furniture was ordered or what was chosen? Because I know we've made the decision. Well, I was kind of surprised by the decision last time to just invite all the BLACs into the DABC meetings, but we're not going to have enough money to outfit the schools in all new furniture. I know there have been concerns at Reiki about some of the stuff being old. I'm just wondering if the building committees should be involved in kind of prioritizing what's important in furnishing their schools.
So I think the question you asked was LICES BLAC involved? And what I recall is that the BLAC was not involved in the prioritization. Essentially, we worked directly with the principal and the teachers to identify the furniture needs and what was prioritized for spaces. We did set up, kind of a classroom standard, if you will, so that over time furniture could be bought for other spaces to kind of set a standard, if you will. But to answer your question, the BLAC was not involved in that. Does that address your question, Jessica?
Yes, thanks.
Yep. Any other questions? Okay, we will move on to the next topic. Next steps. So we have rescheduled the building tours for April 1st. We will start at Longfellow at 1. Reiki at 2 and Presumpscot at 3. So we're really excited about that. We're getting ready for those tours and hope to see many of you there, along with many others from the public. And our next DABC BLAC meeting is to be determined. It does fall right in the middle of April break. So we want to determine when that is, and we also want to start planning Presumpscot's ribbon cutting. So it's a huge milestone that we definitely want to celebrate. And I know some of us were reminiscing on the great event that was held at LICES for that as well.
So I think the decision that, a very small decision we should make as a committee is whether we want to try and move our joint DABC and BLAC meeting probably to the week before April vacation, or if we want to skip April and move right to our May meeting. And of our April meeting could be the actual tours of the schools on April 1st. And of course, if there's something urgent that comes up and a decision needs to be made or our committees need to be consulted, we can look to schedule a meeting at that time. But based on talking with the team, it doesn't sound like we anticipate any need to make decisions in the next, in April. But I'm certainly open to meeting and want to hear what members of the committee's preference is. So is there anyone who wants us to try to reschedule this meeting for either the week prior to April vacation or the week after April vacation? I think my inclination to cancel it and not try to reschedule is in part because it doesn't look like we have any big decisions pending. But also because the school board is just starting the budget process, and it's a busy time in terms of school board meetings. So that would be my inclination, but I'm very happy to figure out a time to hold this meeting if folks think that waiting until May is too long. Anyone have feedback to share or want to make the case for meeting in April?
Sounds like we're going to see everyone April 1st.
Okay, so let's decide then that we're not going to meet as a joint committee at this time. it'll be during April vacation, and instead our, quote unquote meeting will be on April 1st for the building tours. And I hope as many people as possible can join us, because I do think it's going to, for those of us who haven't been in each of the schools, I think it's going to be a really a special time to be able to see all of the work that's been accomplished and to see it together. So the only other thing we have to do is tonight is to consider the minutes from our last meeting. And Lisa, do you mind taking down the slides so that I can see everyone's faces? So hopefully folks have had a chance to look at our meeting notes from our February 16th meeting. And just going to ask, I'm going to ask for a motion and a second to consider the meeting minutes, and then see if there's any questions and discussion, and then we'll just go ahead and vote on the meeting minutes. So either whether you're on the BLAC or the DABC, you're free to make a motion and to vote, since it was a joint meeting in February as well. So is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes?
So moved.
Thank you, Aura. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ben. Are there any questions about the meeting minutes? Any discussion? Okay, then just with a show of hands, all in favor of approving the meeting minutes, please indicate. Terrific, it is unanimous, and the meeting minutes are approved. All right, that is our work tonight. Thank you so much to Lisa and the Harriman team, and our operations staff who are on the call, and to everyone who joined us tonight on just, I don't know, I think the most beautiful night of the year so far. Really appreciate your time and focus, and very much hope to see you on April 1st at the building tours. All right, good night, everyone.